Coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas, this is Punk Brats, a podcast focused on the lives and experiences of our military brats. We didn't serve, we got served. Now here are your Punk Brats, Rose and Lisa.
Hey, it's Rose.
Hey, it's Lisa. Welcome to another episode of Punk Brats. Hey, Rose.
Hi, Lisa.
We said hey at the same time. We're so sisters. We are sisters because we talk over each other.
Yes.
And hi, honey. I've missed you. So anyway, it's been a minute. So what's been happening? Tell us.
I figured we just jump right into it and answer Paul from Eugene's question from the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to know what the coolest or most random souvenir we've ever collected in all our moves. You want to go first?
Yes. Mine's going to be my shot glass that I bought. I think I might have mentioned this in another episode, but I bought my very first shot glass. Yes, that type of shot glass where you put liquor in it and you drink it really fast. I was in 10th grade in Germany. I'm ashamed of this, but not really. I still have it. It's a little mini Stein with a pewter top, and you use your thumb to open the top, and it's a little shot glass, and I still have it to this day.
That's so cool.
Yeah, a little German Stein shot glass. What's yours?
So I had to think about it because there are several things, but I'm just going to share that I think my favorite souvenir, and I still have to this day, are my concert tickets from Germany. Because if anybody's seen European concert tickets from back in the day, they're like pieces of art. They're not like the ones you get from Ticketmaster here, where it's just kind of like that computerized font. And there, it's kind of that universal. In Germany and Europe, the concert tickets were like pictures and huge. And they just had like either the album artwork or just whatever tour it was. And
I remember that. Like, I think I even remember having one that was a hologram.
Yes, I did have one that was a hologram. Yeah,
that's cool.
And so I've kept all those and I still have them. And I think I might even...
You should frame those. Why do we keep our stuff in a box?
I don't know.
That kind of stuff we need. You know what? I'm going to go through my stuff. But thank you for that question. And Eugene from...
Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes, thanks, Paul. That was a really cool question.
Yeah, and if you have a question for the Punk Brats, email us at info@punkbrats.com or call us at 512-254-5989. Ask your question. Rose, so school's back in session for you.
Yes, we're into the swing of things.
I heard there's a new rule.
Welcome to Texas. We have a new Texas state law that students are not allowed to use their phones from bell to bell. And it's been a challenge, but it's been really cool. We've seen some really positive results from it. But I have to tell you, it's even been a challenge for me because, I'm trying to model this new policy with our students. So
yeah, I
even had to sneak out into the bathroom, into a stall to text Lisa.
I know. We had an event coming up.
To see me using my phone.
We had an event coming up, and all I get is this text saying, I'm in the bathroom stall. I'm texting you secretly because we're not supposed to have our phones. And I'm like, what? You know what? I would go crazy because that would be like taking away my Walkman in the 80s, because I relied on my Walkman for during my classes when I didn't have a class, like the free period time, and then, but anyway, wow. Well, good luck on that challenge, girl, because I love my phone and
it's been getting easier. It's been
liberating.
liberating.
Walk away from it.
Although when I do turn it on, I swear, a minimum of 50 text messages because our family group text is very active. And now we have that fantasy football.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Our family's playing fantasy football right now. There's like 12 of us and we're so crazy. But hey, remember like when we were growing up and how all of us are half something. So, you could speak a different language. Like, for example, in Germany, being in an international school, we heard all kinds of languages, right?
Yeah.
But what about the kids who didn't speak another language? Remember when we lived in Japan and you taught me that language, G language?
Oh, the G language?
Yes. You the goose, how the got me, the gee, how the gal, to the goose, but the geek, to the gila, the gang with the gidge.
The guy did the good. And if you
Yeah.
understood that, let us know.
Yes, if you understood that, let us know. But
Lisa actually said, you taught me how to speak G language. And I said, I know, or I did. I don't even remember now.
well, you had to
But
teach
something
your
similar.
friends. We had to teach each other because,
Well,
like,
yeah.
and it took patience, but we
Mhm.
learned it. Remember when we taught it to our other friends so that we could talk about like other people or our parents or whatever, you know. But anyway, we taught Natasha. Remember when you taught Natasha at the International School of Dusseldorf? Natasha is one of our very dear friends. And speaking of Natasha, Rose invited her to join us today. So why don't we just ask her directly? Come on out, Natasha.
Hey, Natasha. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh my
It's
gosh, we
going
have
great.
Natasha.
We have Natasha, Rose.
I
Natasha,
know.
the Natasha from ISD, International School of Dusseldorf. Oh my God, welcome, Natasha. It's been a little while.
Oh yeah, just a little.
Yeah. So we were just talking about how lots of military brats grow up in like dual language homes or speak another language, or one of their parents speaks to them in a language and they answer in English, which was a lot. And like in my case, my mom spoke Korean and then I answer in English.
Yeah.
So we also had made-up languages, and your background, you're Dutch, right? Your mom is Dutch, or both
Correct.
your mom and dad are Dutch. So tell us a little bit about your background, and then tell us how you got introduced to G language.
Well, like you said, I was born in Europe. I'm born in Holland, in Hunsbroek. And my mother remarried to an Air Force man.
Mhm.
And we started traveling. And we kept traveling. And not easy. I was raised in Louisiana. I didn't know a lick of English except the word shut up. That
Good
was
one.
the only word I knew when I came to the States. So I learned to speak English, and my mom was trying to reiterate me to keep my language, to keep it strong, but I kept answering in English because everybody was making fun of me.
Oh,
So the last day of my junior year, we moved once again. And I moved to Germany, and I met you ladies at ISD. And you guys are amazing. And you taught me the official gibberish. And the ganda, the guy, love the gov, you the good, the guys.
With the
Oh,
the gummy, the goo.
And I don't know how I still remember it. I'm 56 years old, and I still remember this language.
Girl, it was the only way we could all talk about our teachers and stuff, right?
Right.
Or Rose and I used it to talk about our parents behind their back.
Well, so who all did you teach this language to? I never knew where it came from.
you know, I did not even realize or remember that I had taught it to you until I got that message from you on Messenger. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, that's crazy. Because we learned it when we were stationed in Japan from
Friends from
brats
Hawaii.
brats who had moved from Hawaii. So
Oh,
it's like,
wow.
but yeah.
And we called it G language
Uh-huh.
because everything is a G, a G.
Yeah.
Oh, I better not
oh.
give away the secrets. Then people will figure it out. Figure out G
Yeah,
language
right?
on your own, people.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. So Natasha,
Yeah,
after ISD, where did you end up? After ISD, where'd you move back to? Where'd you move?
I moved back to Pennsylvania. My stepfather was stationed here at Carlisle Barracks. He retired Air Force, and then I was still in Germany, and I graduated ISD. I went straight into the Army.
Yeah. And thank you for your
spent 8
service,
years-
by the way.
Yes, thank you.
I spent 8 years in the Army. I am now a disabled veteran.
Oh.
A lot of
You're a
PTSD
hero.
and anxiety.
Well, you know, our parent organization, Hats Off for Veterans, we have a program called Courage to Connect. And Courage to Connect is for veterans worldwide to log on once a month. And it's a peer-to-peer where you can talk with one another about your challenges. And we don't let the licensed counselors that are on there and the trauma coaches, we just sit back and we just let the veterans speak amongst each other, because who is the best to support you? Those who know and
Absolutely.
understand.
And I'm so glad that I've got a chance to talk to you guys and learn about this, because I'm always looking for somebody to talk to that's either can relate to my situation and that is a veteran and that has served, and somebody to talk to. So I think that's awesome.
Wow, Natasha, you are a natural.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah, I auditioned with my baby brother, Brat. Of course, he's all military, and my older brother's military. So we were all Army brats.
Well, I knew you had a younger brother, but not an older brother, because Brett was a sweetheart. I remember Brett always being so sweet. He was like 2 or 3 years younger than I was. And now I see him all over on TV, in movies, and I'm just so proud of him too. Hey, maybe Rose, we can get Brett on here as a punk brat.
Oh yeah, we should interview Brat as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, you and Rose are the same age. You guys are both class of 87, so you guys hung out more. But
we're old.
I did hang out with Natasha a few times in the Allstadt. Had a drink or two.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, I could keep talking to Natasha, but unfortunately, we have to move forward. But Natasha, oh my gosh, girl, it's been a minute, but I promise you will hear from the Quintero sisters again.
That would be awesome. I love you guys. I miss you guys. And
you love the gov, you the goose, so the goma, the gutchka, the girl.
You're the girl, the goss of the gum.
So the ganky, the goo.
Okay, so we always, whenever we talk to someone and we end the segment, we always say, see you later, because we're military brats and we don't say goodbye.
That's right.
See you later.
See you later.
Oh my gosh, that was a voice from the past. Natasha. How cool.
I miss her.
We've had some good times, that girl and I. I'm sure you two have also.
Yes, we have. We have a long history between us.
Oh my gosh.
But hey, guess what? We have an upcoming guest on our show, our featured guest on our show.
A very cool guest.
Someone who's worn a lot of hats. He's a journalist, a media executive, and a fellow military brat. Lincoln Millstein is in the house.
So we have with us today Mr. Lincoln Millstein. Mr. Millstein, am I saying that correctly?
You are.
Oh, good. I'm Lisa. I'm Punk Brat Lisa.
I am Punk Brat Rose. It's such a pleasure to meet you, and thank you so much for joining us on our podcast. So, first of all, we would like to just get to know you a little bit better. So, if you could just tell us where you were born, where you grew up, and what branch of the military you are a military brat. Take us through college. How you feel when people ask you, like, where you're from, because all military brats answer that question differently. So I'm curious to hear your answers.
Yeah,
is
me
that
too.
Right? That's interesting. So anyway, I'm a demographic a little older than you guys are. So I was a military brat in the Vietnam War era, and I grew up in Taiwan. My single Chinese mother with 3 Chinese kids, she worked in a typing pool for the American military in Taiwan in the 50s.
Oh, wow.
And because she could speak, because she had a command of the English language, so she was a typist there. And she met my stepfather, Benjamin Millstein, who was a GI stationed in Taiwan in the late 50s. And they fell in love, and they got married when I was 9 years old. And I was a Chinese boy one day, and next day I was an American boy.
Wow, that is a big change right there. Yes. Yeah.
So I couldn't speak the language, and they put me into a Catholic missionary school with my brother and sister, because that was the only school that would accept us, because we didn't speak English. And anyway, so my stepfather, a wonderful man, I love him like my real father. He formally adopted us and gave us his name, Millstein. My Chinese name is Li. Anyway, so he was stationed with the Taiwan defense force in Taiwan in the early 60s. We left there in 1963, and he got an assignment in Fort Carson, Colorado. And then we went back to Taiwan, where I spent my high school years. And I went to the University of Connecticut because my stepfather said, "Hey, I'm from Connecticut, and you ought to check out to see if there's a college in Connecticut."
Okay, that's awesome.
Right. And that's a fairly common story with brats.
Yeah.
They don't know where their dad's from, and their dad says, "I'm from this so and so this place." Well, back in those days, I was considered a resident, so I applied to the University of Connecticut. I got a full ride.
Oh,
And
sweet.
yes, and so and that's how I became, what I am today. But anyway, those are my formative years. Probably, so I'm an adopted military brat, and well, my story is probably not that uncommon.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think you need to put the word adopted in front of that. I think
don't.
you're one of us. You're a military brat. Just say you're a military brat.
I'm
Actually,
proud to
you're
be-
a punk brat. You're a punk brat.
I'm proud to be a military brat.
You
And
are
I do
now.
consider myself a complete military brat. So thank you.
Wow,
Well,
and you got
you-
to go to Colorado, Rose. I would have loved to have lived in Colorado as a military brat.
So we were
Yeah.
stationed at Fort Collins, Fort Lewis outside of Seattle, and Fort Belvoir outside of Washington, D.C.
Are you a skier?
I used to be, yes.
Yeah. See, we like skiing, so that's what I mean. Like, you're naming places that would be fun for our family.
You guys ski in Texas?
No, well, Rose is not the skier. That would be me and
No.
my family and I. We
Lisa
like to go and
travels
ski.
to Colorado.
We go to Colorado. We like to ski at Beaver Creek.
So anyway, my Chinese mother, so the first time we moved to the United States was 1963, and we moved to Colorado Springs. And here's a Chinese woman who's never paid full price on anything, okay? Because in China, everything is negotiable when you go buy something. So she goes to Sears Roebuck, and she wants to buy a refrigerator. And so they told her what the price was, and she said, "Okay, what's the real price?" And
I love it.
Let's barter.
right. So this Chinese woman started negotiating with a salesperson. She would not leave Sears Roebuck until she got some kind of discount. So this poor guy, she finally negotiated a discount from his own whatever from his
Yeah, but she negotiated and got her
from his own
dis-
commission. Poor guy. He gave her some kind of spiff off of the full price so she could. And that was my mother in Colorado.
That's an amazing
Wow.
story.
I'm sure your
That
mother.
is-
I'm sure your.
Oh, we've
mother-
seen our mother barter.
Oh,
Our
yes.
mom's
Yes,
good.
I'm sure your mother has had a lot of the same conversations.
She gets us some
Well, I
discounts.
mean,
Mom's done
I wonder
good.
if that's just an Asian thing,
Yeah,
maybe
I
in
was
general.
gonna
'Cause,
say.
I mean, our listeners know that we're half Korean, but my mom, I remember being in Korea and going to the markets, and you never pay what the price is. You
Mm-mm.
always
Never pay,
negotiate. Yeah, and you're always going back
Yeah.
and forth, But I want to take it back, especially with your background. When people ask you where you're from, what do you say?
I say Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That there's no ambiguity in that. I say I'm from Taiwan, and then they start asking me questions.
Gotcha.
They're curious, like, why am I from Taiwan? Then I start to tell my story.
Okay. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Lisa.
No, but I was going to say, Rose, when you talked about us being Korean, not only are we military brats having to work, having to deal with that culture, and then the culture of being all overseas, the culture of being a military brat, but like being Asian,
American
like
culture too.
the American culture and the Asian culture. Gosh, there's so many things we have to follow.
Well, obviously, a good percentage of military brats are hoppers, right?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
All
yeah.
over the world, and that's probably a underrepresented group. And now, back then, when all the fathers were the ones in the military, but today, so many mothers are in the military.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So, right. And so,
Yes.
so I would love to find out the data of how many um, hoppers. I call them
Mhm.
hoppers. I love
No,
that.
Yeah.
that's what
That's
we call.
That's
Right.
what we refer to ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our military brats. It's a substantial number.
I'm curious now that you said that. I wonder, gosh, could we
Write
even
that
do a study
down,
like
'cause I'm
that to see
Curious.
how many military brats are half so and so and this and that? And
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, because like when you think about it, just all the cultures that we
Yeah.
have that we might even go through. Like, for instance, let's think about it. When we were living overseas, let's say when we were in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
we
Correct.
have a Korean mom, so we have that
Right.
Korean culture that we're exposed to. We're American kids, so we have
Mhm.
that American culture. We're also overseas in Germany, so we have to adhere to that culture. And
Yeah.
then we're also, did I mention military brats? 'Cause I knew
Military
there was four.
kids. We're military
And
kids.
then
We
the
got it.
military culture. So
That's fine.
you're going through all
We have
sorts
more than
of
one culture.
And
cultures
a lot
throughout the
a lot of
day.
soldiers in Germany married
Mm-hmm.
German either wives or husbands.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
Well, like our
Yeah.
father married our mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
When-
He met
when-
her in Korea.
Yeah. When everybody was being sent to Vietnam, our father was sent to the DMZ.
Wow.
And
Mm.
he met my mother in Seoul, or I guess in Korea. Yeah, in Seoul. So fascinating. So when you were 9 years old, your father and mother got married and when they got married, did they get married overseas in
They
Thailand?
got married in Taiwan. He was already
Oh,
stationed.
Taiwan. And
Yeah.
so did you start school in an American school in Taiwan?
Yes, I started in
So
the English missionary school.
yeah.
Yes.
So you went from a school, a Taiwanese school, a school
I
like
went
with,
to a Chinese school
yeah.
one day, and the next day,
Yeah. Oh my.
and I couldn't
Now
speak.
that is, because you see, Rose and I, we've never started school in our lives on the first day.
Oh,
We've
gee.
always been the new kid. But for us, we're Americans, right? And so we're going into a new classroom with other American kids. For you, not only are you not American at that moment, this is a whole totally new experience for you. How did they welcome you
Um,
as military brats? I want to know how we treated you. And how did they welcome you into the classroom?
they were okay, except like everything else in the military, there's a hierarchy. So my stepfather was a sergeant major, and
Wow.
and he was an NCO. Okay,
Mhm.
and they clearly had a hierarchy where the officers' kids were treated a little differently by the teachers, and
Mhm.
and so you kind of learn to deal with that. And I want to ask you guys: have you ever heard of a book called Military Brats, written by Mary Wirch, a woman named Mary Wirch?
I don't believe so, but I'm writing that
Not
down.
familiar with it.
So here's what's interesting. There are not that many books written about military brats. And in the 90s, I was based in Boston, and I heard about this book written by this woman, and she was living in Massachusetts. And she wrote a book called Military Brats, but it's about the dark side of
Mm.
growing up in a military
Mhm.
family. And she referenced in her first chapter the movie The Great Santini.
Ah,
Yes, I
You ever
remember
heard
that
of
movie. Yes,
Okay.
I've seen it.
Yes. Okay. So, and she talked about how her family grew up like the Great Santini's family, right? And so in the 60s, when we were in a war, there were there was that was a fairly common theme. It was kind of the dark side of being a military brat. Um,
mhm.
Fathers were very authoritative, and-
Yes.
right, and spent way too much time in the officers' club,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
right. And so anyway, I would recommend this book to your listeners called Military Brats by Mary Edward Wirch. Now she interviewed 80 families. Okay, she came to some interesting conclusions, which I think is really rings true to me. She said, military brats, first of all, they're extremely resilient. You can you can give them any situation on earth and they can handle it, okay? Because they've had to handle it. On the other hand, they don't have long-term relationships.
Mm.
Every 2 or 3 years, they're forced to break up, as I had to do, break up with my girlfriend. It was, and break up with your friends, and the chances are you'll never see them again,
Yeah.
right?
True.
So
Very
once you've
true.
experienced that, you're really kind of protective of yourself on relationships. We can talk about that, whether that rings true or not. But for me, it rang really true, which is you're really resilient. There's nothing you can throw at me that I don't think I can solve. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, I have problems with attachment and getting to know people and trusting that relationship will
Are
last.
you an introvert? Do you
No,
consider yourself an introvert? No.
no, I'm an extrovert, but still, you don't there's a psychology where, hey, if we are, if we grow up, and we know this relationship has a hard end in 2 or 3 years. You protect yourself.
Yeah. We actually had
Can
we had a
relate.
17-year-old reach out to us. I think I've told the story on 2 or 3 of our episodes, but it's just one I always reference. A 17-year-old called and or messaged me and said, "How did you and your sister do it? Because I'm in high school and my father has moved me 5 times in the last, I think he said 4 years."
Mhm.
It sounds similar like to my husband who moved 12 times in his 12 years of high school, of schooling. But this kid said that he had a problem at making friends and getting attached because he knew his father would turn around and move him. And he said he was very depressed. And just like Rose, you said earlier off camera, when we weren't recording and we were just talking to Lincoln, personally, you said you want to just sometimes hug a kid and say, "It's going to be okay. I promise there's light at the end of the day, or end of the tunnel." And
Yeah.
I don't mean to
there are
make
some kids.
I
It is
don't mean
tough
to
for
make
some
this
kids, though.
conversation go on the dark side, but the positive side
No,
is,
it needs to be said.
No, it needs to be said. Yeah, it does.
the positive side is I think most military brats I meet are incredibly self-sustaining, resilient people. They know how to solve problems. They know how to solve social problems because they've
Yes.
had to do it all their lives.
Yeah.
Don't you think
Exactly.
that's true?
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely think that's true. And like you said, we all handle um it differently. For instance, every time I moved, my border walls around myself would be that I would close myself off and I would be unapproachable. And I somehow found that when I'm unapproachable, that would make other kids want to be my friend because I guess there's some sort of like mystique in
Yeah.
that. Lisa, on the other hand, was a class clown and she would, be in front
I'm
of
the
people and she would
extrovert.
start to laugh and smile and, tell jokes. And so when we would get on the bus at the end of the day, the school day of our first day, there I am sitting all by myself with no one around me. And I look back and Lisa's already sitting in the back of the bus where all the popular kids are on the first day. So,
But
yeah.
hey, you guys, we could talk about young kids, but you talk about resilience. So how did you take your your background of being a brat and cross over to become, well, tell our audience who you are as far as your profession. You are very successful. And can you please now tell everybody from college what you did and how you became who you are and how you retired? And well, tell your story from there.
So my Chinese mother told me, "You're going to go to college and you're going to become an engineer," and that was the end of that conversation.
Sounds very familiar.
Right.
Yes.
So I went to college. I started engineering. I hated it, and
Ah,
meanwhile, I love writing and I love the English language. So I started working on the college newspaper, which I loved, and spent all my time at the college newspaper as a reporter. And then I dropped out of engineering. I did not tell my mother I dropped out of engineering for 3 years. Okay.
Wow.
that's
Then
brave.
Then I became the editor-in-chief of the college newspaper.
Oh,
And
cool.
I got a job as a reporter at the Hartford Courant. So I called my mother and I said, I got to tell you something. I'm changing my major. She says, "What?" I So yeah, I'm dropping out of engineering. I'm going to become a newspaper man.
Oh
Uh,
no.
Right. And my Chinese mother says, "That's great."
Oh,
She said, "You're going to go work for the government because communist China,
yes.
all the
Okay.
newspapers
the
uh,
newspaper.
are run by the government." And she said, "Great." And I said, "Well, thank you, mother. That's what I'm going to do." Anyway, I worked 10 years at the Hartford Current. I worked 16 years at the Boston Globe. I worked 5 years at the New York Times. Then I went to become an executive at the Hearst Corporation. And so um, I don't know, there was a gravitational pull for me to become a journalist. First of all, I like to shoot off my mouth. I'm very defiant. Um, and being a reporter and journalist totally suited that. Um, And I think there was something in my upbringing as a brat too that inculcated that kind of behavior, because we question everything. Like, uh, uh, um, I don't even know, I don't know if it's accurate to call us cynics, but we tend to look at the big picture and what's on the other side. Um, and so, anyway, I had a career in journalism and I retired 5 years ago, but I'm still writing a local news blog.
Well, you left some names out.
I was a senior vice president at Hearst.
Yes, that's big. So,
Going
you
to
know
a lot of
why I
meetings.
admire, I'm so excited about talking with you. And when I read about your history, your background, because my degree is in mass communication. And when I took history of mass media and some other courses, we learned all about the Boston Globe and the New York Times and all these, newspapers and magazines. And never did I think that I would ever speak to someone who was an executive from one of these amazing, backgrounds. And so it's a big honor for me to talk to you because
you.
my dream was to be a journalist. I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. I wanted to do sports journalism or sports broadcasting. And unfortunately, I didn't end up doing that.
It's not too late.
I'm still in mass comm and I do get to write press releases and stuff like that. And so I love I love my degree.
Yes, well, it's not too late because you're in Texas.
I'm focused on the punk brats.
Well, Lincoln, we were introduced to you talking about journalism from Max Letter, publisher of the Stars and Stripes. What is your, did you have a role with the Stars and Stripes, or what is your connection with the Stars and Stripes?
Max is an amazing person.
Yeah.
He is.
He's a military brat, but he's also served himself as a storm, and he was a lawyer in the military.
Yeah.
So he's got serious chops, and then he became publisher of the Stars and Stripes, and which is the equivalent of a two-star general in the military, his current civilian job. But anyway, he called me and invited me to sit on the board of Stars and Stripes because I grew up reading the Stars and Stripes in 1960, 61. And he said, that's a great connection. We to have somebody on the board who actually grew up reading the paper while he was a kid. And so he invited me on board. And I've only been on the board about 6 months, but he is so exceptional. I'm sure you guys have learned from him. He knows so much.
Yes.
And,
he was fascinating to interview. Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to kind of reconnect with my roots because these were my roots, like your roots. We were Brat.
Yeah.
And so I'm eager to meet all these military people. Now, they're of a different generation. They have different lives. They have different challenges. But at the core, brats are still brats.
Mm-hmm.
They still move
Absolutely.
around.
Well, do you attend reunions? Have you put a reunion together? Have you reached out to friends? Have you looked for people?
Do you still connect with people from your childhood?
Yes, here and there, because I think that's one of the problems with brats is we have so many old friends all over the world. It's really hard to find them, right? I mean, I had my best friend in I had my best friend when I was 9, 10, 11. Then I had my best friend for the next 2 years. Then I had my best friend for the next 2 years. This is a familiar story for you guys.
Yes, very familiar. That's why
Yeah.
I'm cracking up.
It's so funny. Everybody's a best friend. Yeah.
Right. And of course, I'm not in touch with any of those best friends I had in grade school. So, but I have great memories. And every one of those segments taught me a lot. And it's part of growing up. And I'm sure they had similar stories to tell. And God, they went all over the world. So I'm really happy that you guys are doing what you're doing, because you're really connecting this almost subterranean group, this cohort that I think is, I don't think there's enough attention paid to it. I'm surprised at how little's been written about it, but the psychology of it, the sociology of this group is just fascinating. And you guys are tapping into that. So I'm very
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I mean, like we write on our front page of our on our website, we try to tell people that, brats come in all stages of life, from childhood to senior adulthood. Just back in February, we had a Camp Zama reunion in Austin, and there were a bunch of us from class of late 70s to early to late 80s, because I'm 89, so I was right at the end. And you know what? There were about 25 of us, and we shut down a karaoke, bar. And when the guy was at the karaoke bar, I was explaining to him, I'm like, yeah. He's like, who are you guys? Because we're all half Asian something, right? He goes, y'all all are like Asian or something. What's going on here? I go, we're military brats. And he goes, really? I go, yeah, we all lived in Camp Zama, Japan. And we all just still stay in touch. He goes, really? I go, yeah. And we're all 50 and 60 something years old. But look, we're having fun as if we were 15, 14, 12, 11 again. It was awesome. And it's that way every single reunion with Camp Zama, every single time.
Every time I meet a brat, my first question is, where were you stationed? And, I'm looking for a connection, right?
Right.
And, often they're stationed in Germany, they're stationed in Europe. And I'm looking for that Asian connection. Every once in a while, I find one. So, we were stationed in Yokosuka in Japan.
We know Yokosuka.
And I say, oh, what year? And they would tell me, I said, oh my God. And then I found one that actually played Little League Baseball against me.
Oh, wow.
In a Pan-Asian tournament. And anyway, those are wonderful connections. And then they tell me about their lives. And I tell them about my lives. But, look, I was a brat in the 60s. I remember landing at Midway Island, Guam. I've been to Kadena Air Force Base. I've been to Hickam. I've been to Korea. I've been to Japan. And so I've been to Manila. And how can you replace that? It was all free.
Yeah. So, and your dad retired. Right. It was for us too, especially going to Hickam. You mentioned Hickam. We loved going to Hawaii on space days. Your dad retired Sergeant Major?
Yes. He retired Sergeant Major. He's buried in Arlington. He's a veteran of Korea, Vietnam, and World War II, 3 wars.
Wow.
Yeah. When you go to his grave marker, you'll see 3 wars. So I miss him. I'm really proud of him.
We'll find him next year, because we go to Washington, D.C. to lobby on behalf of our veterans. And we also, we want to go visit Max and Corey and the folks at Stars and Stripes. And so our agenda is we go to Washington, D.C. every April.
Well, let me know when you're there, because I'd love to meet you there.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And do you go to Arlington Cemetery?
Yes.
We went to Arlington Cemetery on our last trip, and it was
it's an
fascinating.
amazing place. When you just look across the hillside and see just
right.
the lines of stones, and it's amazing.
Well, you guys, guess what it's time for? It's time for the lightning round. Woo!
Wow, this is my favorite part of our interview, because this is where we get to know our guest on a different level, just on a fun level. I'm going to ask you some questions, Lincoln, and just answer whatever first thought comes to your mind. And if you can't think of an answer, you can always say pass. But I am Gonna come back to it.
She'll come back to it.
These are fun. Okay. Question number 1. Place you've never been to that you would like to visit.
I would like to go to Germany. I would like to go to what's the big air base there? Rhine.
Ramstein?
Ramstein?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Next question. Burgers, tacos, or sushi?
Burgers.
Print or digital?
Both. I mean, you can't just rely on either one of those.
Yep. Okay. First job you ever had, and how old were you?
I was a bag boy in the commissary at Fort Belvoir.
I knew he was going to say commissary or something, like all of us.
Favorite city you lived in?
Oh my God. See, that's a problem for Brat because we probably have about 10 cities that were our favorite cities, right?
Right.
And so it's really hard. I can't answer that because I love Seattle. I love Colorado Springs. I love parts of Washington, D.C. And I love all these cities over in Asia. So, right?
Yeah,
So,
that is a hard one. Next question. Beach or snow vacation?
so
Okay. Dream dinner guest, alive or not alive?
Mick Jagger.
Cool.
Oh, that would be
Okay.
fun.
That would be your biggest pet peeve.
Why, in this digital age, when things are supposed to work so smoothly, it's so hard to work everything from your iPhone to your computer. How many clicks there are, and how much time we spend trying to fix those problems. A promising technology that's got more that ties up more of our time than you think.
True. How many languages do you speak and or understand?
2,
Yes.
Chinese and English.
Chinese and English. Okay. And
Chinese was my first language.
and when you read the Stars and Stripes, do you go to the news, comics, sports, or a different section first?
Well, I go to the news first because the Stars and Stripes is so objective. And now, particularly in the era that we're in, to have a news source that it just tells the facts.
Yeah.
And, without any analysis, any opinion.
How about when, this is a bonus question. How about when you were a kid? Which section did you go to first?
Sports.
Okay, the sports section.
Yay! You made it through the lightning round. Woo!
Yes, and our first guest where I had to throw in a bonus question there. That's awesome. I love it.
A bonus question.
Yes, because I had to know. Because I read the Stars and Stripes as a kid too, and now reading it as an adult. I have it bookmarked actually on my home screen.
No, but even growing up, even as young as 6th grade, 7th grade in Japan, my father always got their Stars and Stripes, always. All through high school, it was always on our table. And you couldn't help but just, being Asian, our mother and father worked all the time. We ate alone sometimes at the tables, right? Cooking our rice and ramen, quick meals, because mom and dad were gone working still. But the Stars and Stripes was right there. And you couldn't help but just read it, flip through it, and just educate yourself by reading it,
So I have a suggestion for a future episode that you guys are going to do. Have you done much on food? Because food to me is all these brats. They go to a foreign base and all they're used to eating is, American food, burgers and pizzas. And then it was really interesting. The part of the group totally disdained foreign foods. And then there was another part of the group that fell in love with it. And it became, like in Korea, for instance, right? I'm sure you guys had some brats who didn't want to touch that local food. But then the ones who were really wanted to try it, that was it helped identify them for the rest of their lives, right?
Exactly.
And food is part of a culture, right? And
Sure.
It is.
something that you learn. And so you should put together a panel of all these people from
great suggestion.
That sounds great, actually.
to talk about food.
Just food.
What their favorite food was when they grew up in Incheon,
Yeah.
in Finland, and whatever, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you say that, right? So whenever we talk to our friends from Camp Zama, all of us, and this is from the 80s, okay?
Right.
And I'm talking early, mid 80s. We all still talk about Mori Mori Bon Bon, our most favorite restaurant right off base where we could go get Japanese curry, rice balls. What else, Rose? Oh my gosh, Mori Mori Bon
Yakitori.
Bon. Yes.
Udon, yakitori,
Yakisoba.
just the street food.
The street foods.
food was really
Right.
what I.
And so, like, if
I
anybody is
identify
listening,
with.
if anybody's listening to this right now
Right.
from that time, they know what we're talking about.
Just street food. Just do street food. And they're gonna- oh my God.
You're
for
getting me
25
hungry, Lincoln.
For 25
We're Korean.
cents-
We're all about Korean street food.
For 25 cents in those days, I got the best bowl of noodles I've ever had in my life, right?
Oh
Wow.
my goodness. 25 cents. Wow. You know, it's funny. I'm going to reference back to Max again. But one of the questions we asked him in the lightning round was, what is the weirdest food you ever ate? And he had mentioned eating octopus. Was it octopus off the
A live
ground,
octopus
sidewalk?
off
Was
the
it like
side ground.
off the sidewalk
Yeah.
in Korea. And oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. I was cringing at the same time because I was like imagining it. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. But it was so funny. And I was just, I thought that was really cool.
So I have a quick question because we're running out of time here soon. So with your background in writing and in the and being a military brat and newspaper, in your view, how has media changed in covering military families, veterans, and brat life? Like now, do you think?
Or is there even any coverage at all?
Yeah.
I don't think there is. I think they're missing a huge story because if they can learn a lot
Yeah.
from the brats, because the brats really know the story, and that's kind of disappointing. You know, they cover the politics at the very top. You know, who's against whom, and that frustrates me because I made my living as a journalist. They should go down below and talk to military families and how they survive and what their challenges are and what do they think about the decisions being made. Look at my father told me, a lifetime soldier, he says, I only wanted a few things from the military. I wanted to know who my commander was, whether it's a person I could trust, and I wanted to go into battle with the best equipment and weapons and tools I could have. And if I can get that, that's all I want from the military. And, you know, and so if they're not getting that today, like I think veterans care is a disaster. It to me, it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Right. Now we're not taking care of our veterans. I'm sorry to get political, but you know, you're not going to get those kind of stories by just covering the Pentagon and the White House.
Yeah.
You got to go and talk to.
You got to get, yeah, like you said, it's the whole, it's the whole picture.
You got to go to the NCO club and have a couple of drinks with those people and listen to them talk. Right? And by the way, in my upbringing, the NCO clubs were always better than the officers club.
Yes. Hell yeah. You know, my husband is an officer's kid. My father-in-law is a retired major general. He got his 2 stars. And my husband, when we were boyfriend, girlfriend, didn't tell me much about his dad in the beginning. But now, of course, we joke all the time because I always tell him, you know, yes, I couldn't swim in your swimming pool, but you could swim in mine. I couldn't eat in your officers club, but y'all could come into our club and eat in our, you know, eat our burgers and stuff. I go, but just remember you married an NCO's kid. Yes.
Yes. A real brat.
A real
Right.
brat. My poor husband, he's a stateside. So he moved like 12 times, but it was always stateside. Where Rose and I went stateside and stateside, overseas. Yeah. So is there anything you would like to plug or have anybody go and visit our listeners that you are working on or something that you're advocating for? Anything that you would like to bring attention to right now other than military brats?
No, I think that you guys are fabulous. I think that we should all work harder at this particular subject. It's an amazing subject, military brats, and it's so underwritten about, so undercovered. Just imagine the culture, the sociology, the psychology, the history. You know, it's a post-World War II history, basically, right? That's when we that's when our government, the military, is starting to go have families overseas, but that's a long time. It's 75 years of history.
Wow.
And we just don't have that much data on it. I mean, you guys I love what you're doing. And so
Thank you.
do more of that.
Thank you.
And I wish there was a way we could bring the brats together and share our common characteristics. I think there's a great value in that.
Well, I think that's the goal of the Stars and Stripes, is for Military Child Month in April to do that. And because we've spoken with them, and I'm just so excited. That's why we're doing this together and collaborating and partnering with them, because come this next April in 2026, I hope that we get as many military brats to show up in Washington, D.C. Wouldn't that just be so awesome?
Well, please let me know if I can help with that, particularly with the Vietnam era kids.
Yes. Well, because we are Vietnam era kids. We are. I was born in 71. I mean, our father, Rose was born in 69.
We're more Cold War era kids, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah. More so.
Oh, I guess I see what, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Please. I'd love to come down to DC and help you guys with that.
And if you're ever in Austin, Texas.
Oh, you're in Austin.
Yes.
Okay, the other one's in Houston.
No, I'm in.
No, we're both
here in Austin.
We're both here. Our whole family. We even got our parents to move to near us. We're all in the same subdivision.
Yeah.
Only our younger sister, our youngest, she will not move here. She's in Irvine, California, and she refuses to come here. So
I understand that.
She's not a Texan at all.
But she doesn't understand that Austin is more like California than any other place in Texas.
Exactly.
That's true. It is. Exactly. Austin is the new LA. Well, you were awesome to interview. And I see those guitars behind you. I know you play. Rose and I both are married to musicians who both play guitar and bass. And so please keep playing, because I've been watching your stuff online.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh
So if you're not going to plug yourself, I'm going to plug you. You guys go find Lincoln Millstein online. It's Millstein, and check out his Facebook, because he's got some riffs on there. He rips it.
Mm-hmm. And also to our listeners, we will link the book that Lincoln had plugged earlier.
Yes, Mary Wirtz. Mary Wirtz, Military Brats.
So if you didn't get that the first time, we'll link that on the website, so you can reference that.
I warn you, it's a dark book. It's not an uplifting book, but it's very, very illuminating.
But we need that. And just to let you know, and I know I keep saying we got to cut it short, and we really do. For 2 seasons, Rose and I talked about fun stuff about being a military brat. It was our 3rd season that we realized that we wanted to show a different side of military brats. And so our first episode, season 3, episode 1, episode 2, we actually talked to a couple of military brats, actually 3, who talk about living with the father with PTSD.
Yes.
And that it wasn't very pretty. Right. And in the Haw sisters, a shout out to Julia and Michaela, who are at Fallen Patriot. That's why Rose and I finally realized that we need to also highlight both sides of being a brat.
Well, let me know how I can help.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Rose, how do you take us out?
Okay, so Lincoln, we don't ever say goodbye to our guests, because, we're military brats, and somewhere down the line, we're going to see each other again. So we always just say, see you later.
See you later.
See you later. What a great interview. Amazing. What a man who's done so many things. And it's amazing that, like he said, his mother married his father, who adopted him. And Rose, you know how we always say we're like the new kid? He literally went from a school where he was speaking that language and then put into a military dog school at 9 years old.
Amazing.
What a challenge. But you know what? I just loved how he shared his story and how he just overcame the barriers and the challenges of the language and everything, and became so successful. I really admire him. I do.
Oh gosh. Yeah, me too. And what I love most is that he never forgot where he came from. And, he's spoken before about his brat perspective gave him resilience and a worldview that I guess a lot of people don't really get unless they've lived it. And he has certainly lived it. And I have the utmost respect for Lincoln. It was amazing.
Me too. Thank you again to Lincoln Millstein for taking the time to speak with the Punk Brats. And we hope that we get to work with you again real soon, because after we were done interviewing him, he gave us some really good ideas. And we hope he'll be part of those ideas. So thank you again. And if you have a question again for Lisa or Rose, email us at info@punkbrats.com. Please, you guys, call us with your questions. Share your stories. We want to hear from you. 512-254-5989. Our website is www.punkbrats.com. And of course, we're all over social media, including TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Did I miss anything, Rose?
I don't think so. Just stay until when the music starts, because you'll hear a question from...
We always have a caller.
We always have a caller. And I guess this is the part where I say, see you later.
Yeah. See you later.
Hey, Punk Brats. My name is Robert. I'm calling from San Diego, California. I really enjoyed listening to your show. My question is, growing up and moving so much, what was the one item that always brought you comfort in each new place you moved to? Appreciate you all.